So hey anime fans. The series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Teen Titans? So let's start the series. The sixth headmaster had made his way inside the Sandaime headmaster's office. The others were already waiting for him, so he was the last person there. Kurenai huffed a little and remarked, "Your late sixth headmaster." Even though she was a brand new, extremely talented ninja, she wanted to demonstrate her maturity. Hiruzen Sarutobi read a scroll with the list and remarked, "There is no need for that, Kurenai. After all, he is being given a team. If they pass, they may be the most unique team to ever grace our history." Reaching Team 7, he read it off. Some of the more experienced ninja gasped in surprise as they heard the words. "Hitaki 6th Headmaster, you will teach Team 7, which consists of Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Karasa Naruto friend, and Uzumaki Naruto." One of them expressed his disdain at Naruto for his load by saying, "You can't be serious, Headmaster-sama? That Uzumaki kid didn't graduate. He graduated last night. Iruka promoted him, and I myself approved it. Yuhi Kurenai, you shall lead Team 8 consisting of Hyuga Hinata, Inuzuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino. Team 9 is still in circulation from the previous year, and Sarutobi Asuma shall lead Team 10 consisting of Yamanaka Ino, Naro's Shadow Ninja, and Akimichi Tsuji." Hiruzen then sternly looked at them as they said, "Hi Headmaster-sama. Keep Ninja Village Academy hidden." As she tugged on her cloak, Naruto Buddy sighed. She was going to join a genin team today and work toward her objective. To ensure that her weapon packs were strapped to her thighs, her headband was fastened around her waist like a belt. Sakura and Ino, her pals, accompanied her on her final walk to the academy. "Hey Naruto friend, who do you think our teams will be?" Ino responded. The friend of Naruto didn't appear really interested. "As long as I don't have any of those fanboys or brainless idiots, I don't care," Ino remarked. "Speaking of brainless, guess what I heard Naruto did last night?" As they approached the academy. "He's not brainless. He's just not used to everything here. I know he has been here a few years, but it is still a culture shock to him," Sakura remarked in defense of Naruto. "Aliens," said Naruto's companion in a tone similar to that of most girls when they say, "boys." "Do you think that is why not many people like him?" Ino asks, observing that several villagers appear to detest and scowl at him. A friend of Naruto retorted, "But not many people now that he is an alien, or at least half of one." A voice behind them said, "It is true, my friends, not many know of my alien blood." Naruto was there, wearing his infrequently absent smile. He was a tall boy with tan skin that had a faint orange undertone. His muscles are visible through his orange skin-tight clothing. He had blonde hair with red streaks, blue eyes that appeared to be sapphire, and birthmarks on his cheeks that resembled whiskers. He smiled at his companions. "Hey Sakura, have you finished your latest toy?" Sakura arched an eyebrow at it. She had to put in a lot of effort to become as skilled as she is now because she was the first ninja in her family. Her core energy pools were little, thus she didn't have many nin spirit art to utilize, but she had flawless control. Sakura was incredibly intelligent because she began creating new weapons to give herself a fighting advantage. "They are not toys, they are my ninja tools." Naruto appeared perplexed. "I thought ninja tools were the metal stars that were thrown, or those daggers for fighting, or the paper that blows up like bombs." They all understood what he meant. Although Naruto occasionally speaks incoherently because he was raised on his home planet, his late parents wanted him to follow in their footsteps and become a ninja. Without trying to modify his words, Sakura began. "Yes, they are," adding, "but my tools will help me a lot more than normal tools." Then she saw something and asked, "Hey, why do you have a headband? I thought you failed yesterday?" With a smile, Naruto straightened the headband that was twisted around his forehead. "I will tell you inside." They entered the classroom, but before Naruto could explain, the lesson started. A large number of students had already assembled and begun discussing potential squad members. To impress her and get her affection, many of the lads aspired to play on the same squad as their Naruto friend. Another of Naruto's few buddies, Shadow Ninja, also took notice of the headband. Shadow Ninja stated in a slack voice, "Hey Naruto, how come you're here? I thought you failed yesterday." "Ah yes, I was hoping to explain that. Mizuki told me I could graduate by stealing the scroll of forbidden seals and spells, from which I had learned the Master Bunshin no spirit art, but it was a trick, as he wanted it for himself. I had used the spirit art in front of Iruka-sensei and pummeled him vigorously with my fists. Iruka saw fit to graduate me, and the headmaster blessed it, friend Shadow Ninja," Naruto said while the other people were still unsure about that. Ami, the Jinx, was one of them. Iruka had begun before anyone could challenge him or accuse him of lying. "Shut up, you brats!" He had gotten the attention of most of them by using his own demon head technique to silence them. Now, as you all know, today you have gathered here as official graduates of Hyde Ninja Village Geikyo no Sato Shinobi Gakuin. For that, I am very proud of you, but you are all currently Genin. You are currently the lowest rank of the Ninja Corporation. You will be assigned to 3-man squads with a highly skilled ninja, a superior ninja, to instruct and guide you. We shall begin with Squad 1. Irika began, and everyone was abuzz with anticipation. In the hopes of joining a squad that would accept him, Naruto thought. Please let me be with my friends. I don't want any of those drooling fanboys and pointless kisses. Sakura, Naruto, and even Ino are superior to everyone else. Especially Kiba, mused Naruto's buddy, recalling all the occasions he wanted to show her that he was the top dog, by asking her out. She was just as gorgeous as her late mother, Mikoto, which didn't help. Being on Inobuta's team would be fantastic, but it might not be as horrible if I were paired with a Naruto or a Naruto friend. Irika stated. Squad 7, Uzumaki Wildfire Naruto, Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Karasu Naruto friend. Your highly skilled ninja instructor is Hataki's 6th headmaster. As a chorus of boys began to grumble about the dead last, joining a team with one of the most attractive girls of their age, Irika added. Kiba questioned, disliking this arrangement. Why does the dobe get to be on a team with Naruto friend? Because Naruto is the dobe. He had the lowest scores while Naruto friend had the highest. The headmaster approved these squads himself, and it's tradition for the dobe to be placed on the same team as the Rookie of the Year, which is ironically shared with Top Kunoichi, as Naruto friend has earned both titles. Squad 8, Hyuga Hinata, Aburaim Shino, and Inazuka Kiba, your highly skilled ninja instructor is Yuhi Kurinai. Squad 9 is still in circulation from last year, and Squad 10 consists of Yamanaka Ino, Naro Shadow Ninja, and Akimichi Tsuji. Your highly skilled ninja instructor is Sarutobi Asuma. You now have free time to enjoy lunch, and to learn more about your teammates. Your highly skilled ninja instructors will meet you back here at noon. I wish you all the best of luck on your careers as ninja, said with a bow as she left. This made Naruto's pal smile a little. Sakura let out a sigh of relief, and Naruto was pleased. This is most wonderful news, friends. We should celebrate with a meal. Perhaps we shall venture to the stand of Ichiraku to partake of their ramen? Naruto said to the others. With a sheepish smile, Naruto's friend remarked. Naruto, I respect that you like ramen, but please respect that we don't eat it every day. Shadow Ninja approached them with Chuji and Ino and remarked. Troublesome aliens. You get a taste of something cheap and you go on about it like it was the show dame. As he pulled out some bentis and handed them out, Naruto remarked. I had also made some lunches to share. In such an event that Ichiraku's was denied. As she began to eat a bento that Naruto had prepared, Ino remarked. You definitely have a way in the kitchen. As they began to eat, he grinned and remarked. I am glad you enjoy it, friend Ino. Everyone began to ponder and converse. Ino took another bite of rice and said, I wonder what our senseis are like. Sakura took something from her pack and remarked. I don't know, but 6th Headmaster Sensei will have his hands full with the 3 of us. A multi-purpose belt built at home. She grinned and added, I'm coming prepared for anything. Kiba interrupted. So, Naruto Friend-chan, how about a date just you and me? She ate heartily and said, No. I still don't know how you and Naruto are friends. Since it was midday, the conversation subsided and the food was consumed. Teams 8 to 10 were taken after the highly proficient ninjas from squads 1 to 6. 3 hours had passed. Sakura became angry at their sensei's tardiness and remarked, Where is he? I want to get started already. As he drifted over to the chalkboard, picked up an eraser, and placed it on top of the sliding door, Naruto remarked, Perhaps he should be instructed in why one should not be late, especially if there is a battle present. Then, with a foxy smile on his face, he swiftly drifted to a seat and sat down. As 6th Headmaster approached and the eraser fell directly on Naruto's head, his comrade remarked, Naruto, 6th Headmaster is a highly skilled ninja, and you are a genin. He won't fall for it. Sakura laughed a little while Naruto laughed, but Naruto's friend showed no emotion. The 6th Headmaster vanished in a puff of smoke, saying, My first impression is I hate you. Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. After that, they went to the roof and took 3 seats in front of the 6th Headmaster. With an eye toward his new pupils, the 6th Headmaster said, Well, now that you are all here, why don't you introduce yourselves? Seeing as it would be more for your benefit than ours, why don't you go first? Asked Nobody, raising an eyebrow. The 6th Headmaster gave her a long look before appearing to smile beneath his mask. That's fair, I guess. I am Hataki's 6th Headmaster. I few like and some dislikes. I don't have any dreams. I have some hobbies. But all we got was your name that we already knew, said Naruto, perplexed, as they all simply began at him. As the 6th Headmaster advised, Well then why don't you go first? I am Uzumaki Wildfire Naruto. I have many likes, like all of my friends, and Ramen I have few dislikes, and my dream is… Naruto smiled. And I have many hobbies, he said, pausing to choose whether or not to reveal it. The sixth headmaster simply observed him and said, Is he not that intelligent? However, it seems to me that Tamaranians are absolute powerhouses. Her Naruto buddy nodded. At least you were better than our sensei is. My name is Uchiha Karasen, friend. I have few likes, which I won't name, and a few dislikes. My goal is to avenge my mother. My hobbies involve meditation. She could be worse, said the sixth headmaster, glancing at the girl. She isn't just worrying about her brother, at least. Sakura simply let out a sigh at her companions. A little better, guys, but it didn't have to be like sixth headmaster sensei. My name is Haruno Sakura. I like several things, like learning new things and making more of my special ninja tools and, of course, my friends. My dislikes are those who mess with my friends and think that I am weak. My dream is to be one of the best ninja in the world. Empty hobbies are training, hanging out with my friends, and reading. The final of his new pupils were observed by the sixth headmaster. Well, I may have a team that can succeed in our world and pass my test. However, we'll see if they have what it takes to pass my test. Okay guys, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? The girls said. Bad? While Naruto responded. Good. They turned to face him and said, Good news first, so bad news does not seem so bad. Sakura looked at him and replied, Naruto, you would want bad news first, so the good news makes up for it. The pupils all looked at him as he said, Well, the bad news is that you guys might not even make it as genin. Then, what is the good news? A friend of Naruto said. With an orange book in his hand, the sixth headmaster declared, I got my favorite book signed by the author today. While the females gave him a stern look, Naruto only remarked, Good news indeed. Sakura pointed to her hitaite, which was tied in a ribbon in her hair, and remarked, Why won't we make it? We already graduated. The sixth headmaster said, You see, there are 27 students that graduate on average, but only 9 of those 27 become actual genin. The graduation exam is merely a test to weed out the completely hopeless, and the sensei gives out the real exam. Naruto confronted him, his eyes glowing blue with rage. I will not fail your test. I have already been held back 2 times before now because of the Bunshin no spirit art. I will become a ninja, and I will become headmaster as my father before me. Naruto roared. Since he had told them about his parents, Sakura and Naruto's companion were aware that he meant the 4th. He put a folder on the table in front of them and said, Well, if you're so confident, then prove it. We will meet at Training Ground 7 for this assignment. This has some details about the area we will be using. Locations, terrain, and so on, but I won't tell you the assignment until tomorrow at 6. Oh, I don't recommend eating breakfast unless you want to throw up. Sayonara. The sixth headmaster was peeing once further. Naruto looked over the paperwork and gave it to Sakura, saying, I think friend Sakura, friend Naruto friend, that he underestimates us. At 8 a.m., Training Ground 7. Hopefully, the new Team 7 was waiting for the sixth headmaster at the training ground the following day. Sakura's watch beeped after a few more minutes, and the sixth headmaster materialized in a cloud of smoke. Thus, yesterday wasn't an anomaly. He is consistently 2 hours late. Sakura thought. That proves that theory. As Team 7 gave him a fierce look. He took out 2 bentis and set them on a stone monument, saying, Now that we are all here, I shall explain the test. He then set an alarm clock on one of the logs used for tree training. He said, This test is to get these bells ring from me. The ones that get a bell will pass the test. Those who fail to get a bell fail the test, and are sent back to the academy. He turned to face them and held up 2 bells on a thread. He liked the horrified expressions on their faces. To get a bell at me, you must come at me with the intention to kill. Well, everyone except Naruto. Now that they appeared perplexed, Naruto pointed to himself and inquired, Why only me? The sixth headmaster looked at him. 'Cause I knew your parents, and I know what you are. I have seen them fight, and I may not know how powerful you are in the terms of a Tamaranian. So I am not taking any chances. As though it made perfect sense, Naruto remarked. But I am the dead last at the academy, you can't be afraid of me. You are the dead last cause you failed all the paper test and the clone spirit art. They did make a note about you having some raw strength and you were trained on your home planet, so I have no accurate way to tell how strong you are. For all I know, 1 punch or star bolt could just knock me out if I am lucky. Naruto appeared disappointed but seemed to anticipate such response. The clock was then started by the sixth headmaster. The sixth headmaster was waiting in plain sight on the field when the three went out. The clock shall go off in 2 hours. You have till then to get a bell. The test starts now. They are able to conceal themselves, at least. Sixth headmaster, sensing danger and dodging a barrage of blue star bolts from the sky, thinking, Naruto is a friend more than the others considering her abilities. As Naruto arrived in front of him, the sixth headmaster remarked, So you decided to start with a sneak attack, but I didn't know you could fly. Naruto declared, I shall gain a bell, before striking the ground, producing a nearby earthquake. Although he was put in an uneven position, the sixth headmaster was able to rapidly avoid it. I think it's true that Tamaranians are powerful. As Sakura and his Naruto companion observed, he thought to himself. He could match Tsunade-sama's strength without the core energy control. Well, I suppose he'll be excellent at the front with his star bolts and super strength. Now for the next part. Sakura thought, reaching for a gadget and turning it on. As Naruto friend answered, Sakura said, Naruto friend, you ready with your part? As she switched off the gadget, Naruto's pal remarked, I'm ready. We just need you and Naruto to keep sixth headmaster distracted. Then Sakura reached into her utility belt for something. Then, as Naruto dove straight for sixth headmaster, she hurled several aerodynamic objects at him. The strings holding the bells were severed, but the sixth headmaster was able to avoid Naruto. She was forced to move by her Naruto companion, who then levitated the bells to her hand. As he leaped away from Naruto and looked at the broken string holding the bells, the sixth headmaster blinked. Did Sakura use Naruto to cut the bells, or did Naruto's pal reach them first, or was everything prearranged? I need to make sure they have what it needs, even if everything was planned out. Sakura emerged from hiding with the 2 bells in her hands, saying, Well, it has not even been 10 minutes and already Naruto friend has the bells. Now the important question, which one of your teammates will fail? Before the bells floated in the direction of her teammates, a buddy of Naruto arched an eyebrow. They gazed at her. As if anyone would do it, she remarked. I barely did anything, so I will go back. It will be easier to do it again anyway. Sakura remarked. Naruto friend, you played a significant role. If you didn't grab the bells, we would have had to fight 6th Headmaster Sensei, and we might not have even gotten the bells then. As he floated to his friend and gave her the bell, Naruto remarked. Friends, it is no problem, I will go back. Sakura planned in case this did not work would have, and Naruto friend is too skilled to go back. You could have passed without me, so I will go. The 6th Headmaster glanced from one determined face to the other. Thus, it was prearranged, and they are prepared to sacrifice their aspirations for the other. I'm not sure if I should be angry with them for passing my impossible test, or pleased of them for performing so well. Well, we might as well let them know. However, the test was supposed to take 2 hours, with 15 minutes spent explaining what they did wrong, 15 more minutes giving them one final chance, and 30 more minutes explaining what it meant to be a ninja. And before I can see the headmaster, I have to wait for 2 hours. For 5 hours, what do? Perhaps I should inform Guy that my pupils pass my test in 15 minutes, just for once. He'll go crazy over that, train his students harder, and spend more time away from me. You all pass. All he said. Naruto excitedly leaped up and down. The 6th Headmaster was taken aback when Naruto seized the 2 girls in a swirling embrace and remarked, Friends, it has all gone exactly as planned. Sakura nodded and he said, You planned this part too? Sakura said, I only planned on how to get the bells. Naruto gave us the answers. As Naruto started talking, Sakura's buddy nodded. I was told of my parents and how my father used it for your team as a genin. It was originally used by the Sandaime when he trained the Sannin, and then Jiraiya used it for his team, which included my father, and then my father did it for your team. It was safe to assume that you would pull this on us, as it seemed traditional that Squad 7 would be tested in such a manner. Naruto then glanced at his friend. With a brief smile on her face, Naruto's buddy added, It was about teamwork and sacrifice. If one of us was selfish, then the team would fall apart, but if there was a skilled and selfless leader, then we pass. Eyeing the 3, the 6th Headmaster remarked, I see, so Naruto had the information from a caretaker who knew his parents as well. Sakura surprised the others by saying, I say Naruto should lead. When 6th Headmaster can't, of course. You only failed because of the Bunshin no spirit art and the paper test. That doesn't mean you're stupid, and it was your idea to show selflessness to prove we'll make it. Sakura replied. Naruto began. I am unqualified to lead, and so I t-dash. But was cut off by a friend. As Naruto nodded, his friend said, It's okay, Naruto. You want to be headmaster, right? Think of this as a chance to start learning. I also hate to admit it, but this is a male-dominant society and women won't be listened to or taken as seriously. The friend stated while Naruto nodded. I take either gender seriously, as only the royal house on Tamarin has any greater privilege due to their station. Otherwise men and women are equal, Naruto replied with a grin. Sakura grinned at Naruto and remarked, that's why you'll be a greater leader than most teams, or at least 8. Naruto nodded and floated while holding Sakura's hand as his friend said, we passed, can we go now? Their friend Naruto trailed after them. When he realized something was missing, the 6th headmaster remarked, well, I guess I have to report and find something to do for now. Where's my book? 5 hours later, in the headmaster's office. After searching for his book for several hours, the 6th headmaster finally made it inside the headmaster's office. As it happened, a friend of Naruto received it and sent it elsewhere in the village. Additionally, he ran into Guy and informed him that his squad outperformed all others in passing. In order to train his team in his power of youth and defeat his rival squad, Guy hurried to locate them. Asuma, Kurenai, and Narukatsuragi, a woman with short brown hair, honey brown eyes, an X scar on her face, and a figure similar to Kurenai's, were discovered by the 6th headmaster. Without mentioning the 6th headmaster, the 3rd headmaster cleared his throat. Now I want a report of your teams that have passed. The winner was Kurenai. My team of Hyuga Hinata, Abirame Shino, and Inazwaka Kiba, all 3 are good trackers with Shino having a level head keeping the team together. Kiba is a little rough around the edges, but you cannot find a more loyal teammate. Hinata has great potential and with some time I can bring it out. Asuma released a few cigarettes prior to proceeding. My team is of Naruto Shadow Ninja, Yamanaka Ino, and Akamichi Tsuji. Ino was no doubt the leader of the team and has a good head on her shoulders. Shadow Ninja is also smart when he feels like it, and Choji is a powerhouse as well as a loyal teammate. Then came Narukatsuragi. My team of Ami the Jinx, Rika Mammoth Aoyama, and Shinji Gizmo Akagami pass. They prefer their nicknames, but can work together as a team. Jinx is the leader, while Gizmo is more of a thinker, and Mammoth is a powerhouse. The 6th headmaster reviewed the teams in his mind. He was aware of Mammoth and Gizmo, 2 of the academy's smartest and dumbest pupils. Naruto, Mammoth, Kiba, Shadow Ninja, and an unnamed student who failed were the 5 students with the lowest scores. Naruto's friend, Gizmo, Sakura, Ino, and Shino tied for 3rd place among the top 5 intelligent pupils. Naturally, no one can tell how good someone is based solely on their academy ratings. A nice illustration of that is Naruto. The 6th headmaster then began. My team passed in only 15 minutes of the test. From what I know is that Sakura came up with several plans to get the bells. She is the brains of the team. Naruto's friend is good support with her powers, and Naruto is nothing short of a heavy assault ninja, but given his blood that is to be understandable, he was able to keep me on my toes. Kurenai said. What do you mean by his blood? Both Katsuragi and Kurenai were perplexed. The other 3 gave them a look. Asuma began. Oh, that's right, you guys don't know, do you? Tell me, what do you know about Naruto? The 3rd headmaster asked after clearing his throat. Began Katsuragi. He was born the day of the Kyubi no Kitsune's attack. The 4th used him as the prison that keeps the beast locked away, and thus should be the hero of our village. He is also the dead last of the academy, Kurenai said. His test scores are worse than anything there. How is he able to keep you on your toes, 6th headmaster? He failed because of the paper test, and he had no control of his core energy to make a single clone. Other than that, he has the ability in combat to be powerful. The 3rd individual replied. Tell me, where do you think Naruto was for the first 10 years of his life? I had assumed that he was taken out of the village to train and keep him safe, Katsuragi replied. I take it this is not true? The 3rd headmaster told the startled highly talented ninja. Yes, he was taken, but to his home planet Tamarin. You see, Naruto is what is known as a Tamaranian. Katsuragi, who had never heard of a Tamaranian, questioned. Headmaster Sama, what is a Tamaranian? Tamaranians are not native to this world. They possess many powers such as the ability to fire energy, Tsunade-level strength, and the ability to fly. Another ability is that they can assimilate information through skin contact. The only reason Naruto failed the written test isn't because of his lack of intelligence, but rather fools who don't see him as a person, regardless of race, and his inability to read our writing system. He is still improving on that. They were all taken aback. Because he was illiterate, the deceased last failed. In reference to her powers, the 6th headmaster stated. Then there's also Naruto friend's situation. As they all departed following a Hi, Headmaster Sama, the Sandaime remarked. The powers of one from the mystic realm of Azarath. I believe that this will be the year with many powerful shinobi in our midst. I feel great things will happen in the future, but for good or ill I cannot say. You are dismissed. He glanced at the force photo and thought. Great things indeed await us. A puppet show was being performed in a random chamber in Hyde Ninja Village, and it was dark. A puppet version of Naruto said, "Ninjas go!" as it was controlled to fly and then stop by itself. As the others responded, the puppet Naruto said, "Hey, aren't you guys coming?" Puppet Shino stated, "It would be illogical to go with you." Puppet Hinata remarked, "He is T too clever and P powerful, and GG good L looking as well." Puppet Sakura responded, "What's the point? We can't possibly defeat the puppet daimyo." A puppet of Ino, with the majority of her body now composed of some sort of gray, silver, and blue metal armor, said, "Yeah, we should probably just surrender." Her arms before her elbows and half of her face were the only areas of her body that were exposed. Her ponytail protruded from the metal plate, and her hair covered her human half. She peered through her normal eye, which was illuminated, on her right, and the glass eye on her left. Puppet Shadow Ninja remarked, "I agree. It's too troublesome to fight." With her hood on, the puppet Nerda Buddy remarked, "I agree. It's pointless to waste our energy on a fight we can't win." As Puppet Chuji nodded, Puppet Kiba said, "Dudes, I think we just did." The voice said, "Excellent, but enough rehearsal. It's time to start the show." As the puppets fell into the stage. The ramen stand in Ichiraku. The ninja teams were gathering at the ramen stall on a typical day to discuss their training and the missions they had undertaken. Kiba grumbled while eating his ramen. "I am telling you that cat mission is the worst. It takes us forever to catch it," he said. Before taking another bite of his meal, Shino said, "If you and Akamaru did not try to chase after it when we are close to catching it, then we would not really have a problem." As he added his 7th bowl to his ever-expanding stack of completed dishes, Nerda remarked, "I find that little feline creature most fun to play with. He runs for hours when you give chase." As she sipped her ramen, Nerda's companion retorted, "That is because you may have more energy than Tora. Even without your flying you can still outrun that thing in terms of endurance." As Ino and Sakura observed Nerda's expanding pile, he added another bowl. "Choji didn't even have that many." "Nerda, how is it you can out-eat Choji like that and still stay so healthy and skinny?" Ino responded. Nerda scratched the back of his head and appeared somewhat bashful, and everyone saw him say, That is because I have 5 stomachs." Choji muttered something that sounded like, "lucky," as they all turned to stare at him. The fact that he can eat so much and remain that way makes even the girls a little envious. "Hey, is this team 7, 8, and 10? A Chunin asked as he descended with a crate. Sakura said, "That's us." And they all turned to face him. The Chunin said, "I have a Pakmaster made to you guys. We already went through it, and it has no trap or Gen Spirit art on it," before setting the device down and flicking off. The teams went inside and opened the package. Several puppets that resembled them were inside. "Aw, they are so cute," Ino said as she took hers out. "Hey Sakura, this one has my armor that we are making." As she removed them and began passing them their puppets, she remarked, "How did they know that?" She enjoyed how it bore a striking resemblance to her and featured her unique tool belt. The mechanical eye lit up when Ino touched her puppet's protruding chest. "Ah, how cute, little Cyberino has a light-up eye." "Cyberino?" Sakura inquired. "Oh, you know what I mean. When I get my armor fused to me I am pretty much a cyborg anyway, so why not?" As he maneuvered his puppet, Nda chuckled and said, "What a whimsical little toy. Hello, tiny wooden replica of Nerdu. Hello yourself, Nda." As she carefully removed her puppet's hood to examine the face, Nerda's buddy remarked, "Someone sure took a lot of time and skill into making these." As some of his insects crept over his puppet, Shino said, "I agree." Kiba uses his puppet to create a sound effect and make it move as if it were fighting. He joined in, and Choji made them engage in combat. The one that resembled him was scented by Akamaru. "Shall my tiny self do battle with your tiny self?" asked Nerda, standing next to his pal and holding out his puppet. As she threw her puppet at Nerda, Nerda's pal appeared uninterested. "Knock yourself out." Eventually, night fell. Sakura and Nerda were lodging at the clan head's home in the Uchiha compound, which was Nerda's friend's home. They were unaware of what had transpired when they heard different noises. Nerda awoke with his puppet by him. Nerda's door opened, but he was awake before it shut. He said, "Is someone there?" before taking a brief look around. As he moved closer to Nerda's friend's room, he said, "Hello? Hello?" He repeated, "Is someone there?" but got no response until he heard a menacing laugh coming from out of nowhere. Nerda and his friend both said, "Huh! If this is a joke then it is not ah!" simultaneously. As his friend moaned, Nerda remarked, "You too have heard the strange noises?" As Naruto scratched his head shyly and murmured, "Oh, forgive me. I thought there was someone H-." Naruto was startled by a blast that passed them. "The strange noise of you talking outside my bedroom? Hard to miss." When Naruto and his friend turned to face the source, they found Sakura, Kiba, and Ino running toward them. Sakura even gave Naruto a leap kick. He was able to avoid him by floating around him. Kiba and Akamaru hurried to Naruto's companion, who had created a barrier of darkness with her power. "It's me, you two! Don't make me hurt you!" she exclaimed, erecting barricades to prevent their double attack. Naruto blasted 2 of the 3 discs that Sakura tossed at him. Kiba finally tossed Naruto's companion back into Chuji's powerful clutches when the third exploded, shocked him, and caused him to fall into Chuji's arms in a captive position. "Let me go!" Naruto's companion cried out as she wriggled a little under Chuji's hold. "Friends, why do you attack us?" asked Naruto. "They're not your friends anymore. These are my puppets. Here are your friends." The puppets that had been delivered earlier to the ramen stand were held by a small wooden puppet that resembled a guy wearing daimyo robes. "Guys! Help us! Arf!" Despite the strained and muffled sound of their voices, the puppets screamed for assistance. They both attempted to escape. Because he was afraid of damaging his friend's body, Naruto did not use much of his extraordinary power. With a glowing puppet controller in hand, the puppet daimyo approached and said, "And now your bodies will be my puppets." Both Naruto and his companion felt as though they were being torn from their bodies at the last minute. In an attempt to escape, Naruto's friend used one of her spells. Azarath Mitrian Zinthos. Her spell was successful as she passed out. The puppet daimyo was the target of a black energy pulse that radiated from Naruto's friend's body. His controller slipped from his grasp and landed on the ground. "My control!" he exclaimed. Out of control, 2 of the light-up circles illuminated. 2 colored lights, 1 orange and 1 purple, flew in the direction of Naruto and his pal. While the orange went into Naruto buddy, the purple went into Naruto. As Naruto and his comrades stood up and began to run, the puppet daimyo seized the power. "Go my puppets after them!" When Naruto and his companion ran into a dimly lit closet, they heard their pals' bodies sprint by them. After panting, Naruto's pal whispered, "We should be saved here." Then, so they could see, she switched on the light bulb over them. However, after doing so, she regretted it. Now that she was staring at herself, she realized there was no mirror in the room. The light bulb blew out as Naruto's friend's power reacted, causing her body to gasp and say in his voice, "You are me, gasp, and I am you." After a while, a lone ninja leaped over the hamlet in search of someone. He didn't realize for a long time that a sewage lid had been burst open and was spinning on its sides until someone grabbed it to stop it. Naruto remarked, "This is awful, Naruto friend, terribly horribly awful." Naruto's friend grabbed Naruto and they left. As she and Naruto went, she sarcastically stated, "Tell me about it." "Very well. Our friends are trapped inside tiny wooden bodies, while a nasty creature called the puppet daimyo is controlling their real bodies, which he is using to hunt us down. You and I are in the wrong bodies and—" Naruto said as his friend's magic reacted, melting a mail unit, blowing some newspaper boxes, and bending a few random objects before stopping him. "Naruto, you have to calm down. My powers are driven by emotion. The more you feel, the more energy you unleash," the friend remarked before asking, "What if they find us? What if our friends are doomed? What if I'm stuck like this forever?" Before posing the strange question, "What's wrong with the way I look?" Naruto's friend replied, "We'll fix it. I don't know how, but we rescue our friends and get our bodies back." Naruto held his friend's hands up in a conciliatory gesture and replied, "Nothing." That's when something burst. When a rickshaw carriage was blown skyward and landed on its top, Naruto's attempt to relax himself. "I will try to calm down. Peace, quiet, tranquility," failed. Then a buddy of Naruto saw someone leaping from rooftop to rooftop in their direction, saying, "We are so doomed." She recognized Team 8 in the moonlight. As they approached, Kiba and Akamaru led the way. Gasping, Naruto said, "Kiba, and our friends." As Naruto's companion grabbed Naruto and began to go, she corrected him, saying, "No zombie Kiba, come on." As they went down an alleyway, Naruto's companion attempted to fly inside her body by flapping her arms and hopping up and down. Angry, Naruto's pal questioned, "How do you start this thing?" Naruto responded as though it was clear that, "You must feel the joy of flight." "What?" "You must feel the wondrous joy to fly." "Yeah, that might be a problem." Team 8 then attacked them by leaping down on them. A friend of Naruto saw that Hinata's eye, which was flashing a sickly green, was not active while she was attacking her. Naruto yelled as he leaped out of the way of Shino's strike. "Why isn't non-friend Shino using his churka consuming insects to attack?" "Their bodies are controlled, but they don't know how to work stuff like spirit art." After giving it some thought, Naruto's companion responded, Shigo bugs must know that this is not Shino and are not listening to him. Now their captured companions appeared. They escaped Choji's onslaught only to be grabbed by Sakura and Kiba. Naruto's friend felt her bodily energy push everyone away as Naruto screamed. "Why did you scream?" she asked, grabbing him as she rushed. "Remind me to hit Kiba where it hurts later," the Naruto companion said as she noticed the body's eyebrow twitch. "Okay, how to use star bolts," she said, turning with Naruto behind her and clenching her fist in an attempt to launch a starbolt at them. Holding up a fist, Naruto said, "Righteous Fury." Knowing that was out, a buddy of Naruto asked, "Super strength?" Holding his friend's arms as if displaying muscle, Naruto stated, "Boundless confidence." She grabbed him once more and began saying, "Forget it." They were backed into an ally, so they hadn't fled very far. "If I can't fly, then you have to levitate. You know those words, Naruto exhaled and replied, "Yes." The zombified versions of their pals looked as Naruto's buddy shouted, "Wait, you need to concentrate." However, it was too late for Naruto exclaimed, "Azarath, Mitri and Zinthos!" and grabbed Naruto's friend as they swiftly flew into the sky. Screaming as they flew, they fled the location a bit too quickly for comfort. "I wish to stop. Please tell me the way to stop," Naruto's companion said. "Look at the ground and imagine, wait," before they tumbled into a heap of trash. Naruto remarked, "I smell like the breath of a Snorvian blortworm." His pal was piling trash on the sides. "Naruto friend, what are you?" When Naruto's companion threw a bag of trash at him, causing him to duck inside her body, he exclaimed, "Shoo!" before ducking. Before leaving, 3 of the zombified companions passed by and gave it a quick glance. Naruto became anxious and nearly lost it, but after his friend gave him a look, he began repeating, "Peace, quiet, tranquility," repeatedly for a few minutes. Naruto tried to verify their friend's allegations, but then they noticed zombie Akamaru sniffing around. "It's alright. They're going." Before his friend intervened, Naruto nearly gasped. For several minutes, they waited anxiously while Akamaru sniffed around. Throughout this wait, they perspired with anxiety. A voice from the puppet daimyo spoke out. "Enough." He was surrounded by 7 genin that had been zombified. He approached them wearing his daimyo robes and said, "We will catch the other 2 after the ceremony is complete." As the puppet daimyo gazed at Sakura, she questioned, "Ceremony? What ceremony?" "Just a little spell that will destroy you all, and make your bodies mine forever. Come, my puppets," he ordered, and they accompanied him to another location in the hamlet. Following their departure, Naruto and his pal emerged from the temporary garbage castle. Naruto began to say, "Quickly, Naruto friend, our friends are in danger. We must follow them and—" But Naruto's friend cut him off. With a hint of cynicism that Naruto did not miss, his companion added, "And what? Save them with my unusable powers while your unbridled emotions blow us all to bits. Nice flying, by the way." As Naruto's friend's abilities exploded around him, he said, "At least I am able to fly. On my world, even a newborn can unleash the joy of flight, but you're too busy being grumpy to feel anything at all." Naruto calmed down as his companion remarked, "Maybe you hadn't noticed, but my emotions are dangerous. I can't afford to feel anything. You may have my body, but you know little about me. You also know little about me. If we are to rescue our friends, we must know each other more. Please begin sharing." Naruto's friend smiled slightly at him before continuing, "I was born in a place called Azarath." They were able to follow their buddies to a warehouse after spending a few hours getting to know one another and learning how to use their abilities. They observed Kiba and Akamaru acting as watchdogs to protect the exterior. Near the warehouse, Naruto and his pal peered behind a structure. Turning to his friend, Naruto said, "Remember, you must feel the joy of flight." "Got it," remarked Naruto's buddy, closing her eyes to reflect. "You can try puppies or our friends or ramen or," was the advice that Naruto tried to give her, but his friend was already taking off. After grabbing Naruto's wrist, she soared above Kiba and Akamaru to a closed door on the roof. "Wonderful, what did you think of?" Naruto said, applauding his friend's accomplishment. "You don't want to know." "Oh, but I do. I was thinking of you not talking." That made Naruto smile. A friend of Naruto glanced at the locked door before turning to face Naruto. "Now do as I say. Focus on the lock, feel the energy flow, and then—" Naruto closed his eyes, extended his, and followed her instructions. "Azarath, Mitri and Zinthos." Before the lock was pushed and shattered, it was covered in black energy. "Nice work!" exclaimed Naruto's friend, before Naruto leaped with joy, causing her friend's energy to respond and slammed the door open. "Nice work," she said sarcastically this time. From inside, the puppet daimyo grasped his controller and said, "Search and destroy. I do not want an audience." The 7 genin bodies departed in search of their target. As he went on, "Well, ninja, it's time for your grand finale." He poured a vial of an odd substance, and the blue flames ignited. As she and Nerd observed from a spot just above him, Nuda's pal replied, "No." The captured puppet replicas of the Rookie 9 were seized by the puppet daimyo. As the 7 puppets dangled and cried out for Nuda's friend, or assistance in general, he remarked, "It's going to be a real showstopper." He lowered the puppets and said, "Don't worry, I'll take good care of your bodies. After all, they'll be my puppets forever." However, rather than falling into the flames, the puppets were swallowed by a sphere of darkness that was transported to Nerda while still within Nerda's friend's body. Nerda joyfully exclaimed, "My friends, you are unharmed!" While giving them hugs, Sakura said, "Nerda?" after hearing Nerda's voice coming from his friend's mouth. As the puppet daimyo gathered the 7 genin's lifeless bodies, Nerda's companion remarked, "It's a long story." When the puppet daimyo yelled, "Go my puppets! Capture them!" the newbies began to follow. The 2 were chased by the 7 genin. A few of them began to ascend in order to get to them. "Move!" said Nerda's companion as she snatched Nerda and fled. They were halted by Kiba, who continued with some simple Thai spirit art. Ino swung in from the side and kicked them after Sakura arrived from behind. The puppets landed with Chuji's butt in Kiba's face as Nerda dropped them. Kiba yelled, "Dude, get your butt out of my face!" as Chuji was immobile. Chuji said, "I can't move, Kiba. Deal with it." As Nerda and his friend flew into the air, Shino remarked, "It is illogical to argue about our current predicament." Luckily, they were able to maintain self-control because they came to a stop in midair. Sakura trailed Nerda through the rafters of the deserted warehouse while Kiba and Akamaru used a man-beast clone to pursue his friend. After dodging a few blows, Nerda used his friend's abilities to move a sandbag, saying, "I do not wish to fight you, friend Sakura, but I will if I must." The bodies of Shino, Chuji, and Hinata likewise shifted, and Nerda launched them all skyward while the sacks were fastened to their ankles. With Kiba and Akamaru, Nerda's friend was struggling a little. She was unable to use any of Nerda's star bolts, but she was able to ignite a spark of it for a while. "Concentrate, Nerda friend, let go of your emotions. Feel the righteous fury and..." A tag team consisting of Kiba, Akamaru, and Ino was still difficult for her to handle. Righteous fury, concentrate." Although she was still having trouble, she felt secure enough to kick Kiba, throwing him into Ino and sending them over the edge. Seeing that they would have fallen on the puppets holding their friend's souls, Nerda used his friend's abilities to lift the 2 of them again. Then she saw Sakura and Hinata running at full speed toward him as a couple sandbags began to fall. He hurled Ino and Kiba at them using the abilities of his friend Nerda. As Shino and Chuji pursued him, Nerda yelled, "Nerda friend, help!" exclaimed Nerda. "Nerda!" said Nerda's buddy as she drove directly at them, knocking them down. "Not me, them!" Nerda exclaimed, indicating the blazing altar bowl underneath them, where the puppet daimyo had gathered their friends' puppets throughout the battle. The puppet-like guy declared, "The puppet daimyo is in command." However, before he could place the 7 puppets in Nerda, his comrade sensed something and yelled, "No!" When she sensed this, she hurled a star bolt directly at him, causing the puppets to fall safely out of his reach and away from the intestines. Additionally, the controlling object was fired into the colon. "And why control?" exclaimed the puppet daimyo as the device plunged into the blue flames, creating a flaming cross between the visage of an elderly man and a dragon. As the puppet daimyo yelled, "No!" 9 various colored lights emerged from the puppets, with the faces of the ones that contained them returning to their correct bodies. The puppet daimyo had blue light shooting from his mouth and eyes. For a brief period, Nerda's orange and his friend's purple lights blended together before reverting to their original forms. The scene concluded with Nerda in his own body clutching Sakura in a princess manner. Additionally, the Nerda friend was in her right body. Nerda placed his pal down and exclaimed, "I am me, and you are you!" "And we're us!" Ino exclaimed, pleased to be in her typical body. Sakura remarked joyfully, "Thanks to you too," the others concurred. "You two rock!" exclaimed Kiba. As he exclaimed, "Nerda friend, we have done it!" Nerda couldn't resist giving his pal a hug. To everyone's surprise, Nerda even planted a kiss on her cheek. She was embarrassed by the half-alien young man's embrace and exclaimed, "You're hugging me!" He was furious but unable to express it, which shocked and envious Kiba. "No!" exclaimed the 9 genin as they saw the puppet daimyo scuttling in the direction of the blue flame. "The magic! Without it I'm just a..." He was unable to finish because, like a puppet, his body went dead. For the first time, everyone's attention was drawn to Shadow Ninja's statement. I think Headmaster Sama should know about this. This was really troublesome. Shadow Ninja yawned and then said, I threw the puppet away. Too troublesome to take care of a toy like that. They picked up the puppet and walked away when Nerdo Buddy remarked, How come you didn't attack us? Nerdo friend, did you want me to remind you to do something? Nerdo then recalled. After taking a moment to recall, the friend's eyes took on a sinister gleam. Oh yes, thank you, Nerdo. She used her abilities to shoot a piece of wood at Kiba. Kiba dropped to his knees and clutched his balls while screaming in agony. He let out a painful gasp. What is that for? The other might have felt sorry for Kiba until he moaned. Ah man, and I didn't even get to feel them. The entire community could hear Kiba's high-pitched cry of agony. Nerdo's pal was meditating the following morning. Azarath, Mitri, and Zinthos were the same 3 words she was chanting. When Nerdo's buddy was awakened from her trance, Nerdo remarked, Nerdo friend, forgive my interruption. She said, Is there anything you want? To which Nerdo replied, I wish to join you in meditation. Her buddy grinned and gestured for Nerdo to take a seat next to her. After a few minutes, Nerdo's companion opened an eye and turned to face Nerdo. He floated while they chanted, Azarath, Mitri, and Zinthos. You want to go out sometime today? Just the 2 of us? Nerdo said. I would like to join you, Nerdo friend. He didn't fully understand that she was asking him out. A mysterious man in a technical suit closed in on 6th Headmaster and Team 7, who were tasked with guarding the bank after it was looted late at night. The man whose suit began to glow questioned the 6th Headmaster idly. So, who are you? Just before he blasted them with light, he remarked, You may call me Dr. Light, and I shall be talking the Golden Hide Ninja Village Bank. Sakura began by leaping at him and throwing a shuriken to divert his attention, saying, This guy made his own suit. He has to have some talent to do that. Dr. Light stated, You're fast, but I doubt you'll enjoy traveling at the speed of light, as he blasted Sakura with dazzling light while opening a plate in his chest. Since guarding the bank was often a high D-rank task that only needed 1 night there for a considerable amount of time, Team 7 wasn't the only ones assigned that night. There were also Teams 8 and 10. Hinata tried to use her eyes to look for a weakness in the armor, but she had to stop since the brilliant lights from the suit almost blinded her. After testing their Manbeast clone, Kiba and Akamaru launched an assault. Shino was focused on Kiba, and his insects were swarming around him. But Dr. Light had other ideas. He shot a few tiny balls of light that flashed in front of Kiba and Akamaru, saying, Even the mighty wolf is no treat when he is blind like a bat. Their enhanced senses had now caused them to become blind. Hinata was fortunate to close her eyes before the flash and realized that using them in this fight would not be safe. When Dr. Light saw the insects, he launched a big ball of light at them, and they followed. Like a moth to the flame, your insects will always follow the light. Shadow Ninja complained. So troublesome. My spirit art are useless, as this guy would be able to stop my shadow before they even get close. I got this, Shika. Ino exclaimed as she leaped forward and produced a scroll. Before anyone could see it, she yelled, Ninja art, soul metal fusion spirit art, as she opened the scroll and something poofed out. Before the smoke cleared and Ino's appearance changed, it swirled about her. Now gray, silver, and blue metal armor covered the majority of her body. Her arms before her elbows and half of her face were the only areas of her body that were exposed. Her ponytail protruded from the metal plate, and her hair covered her human half. She used her regular eye on her right side and the glass eye on her left. She appeared excited and said, I will only say this once, booyah. She then turned to face the man in the suit. Ino immediately leaped and tried to strike him, but he stunned her with his light and nearly melted the soles of her feet in the concrete. You better watch it, lightweight, cause things are about to get heavy, Ino exclaimed. She yelled, What the? Get me out of here! While Nerda shot some star bolts into the air. He was able to rescue her from the mud, but Dr. Light created a sort of barrier that kept them both. Azarath, Mitri, and Ak! Nerda's friend tried to unleash her abilities, but a light blast halted her. Nerda's friend's eyes shone white as he remarked, Here's a tip, find shorter magic words. He then hurled something rapidly in Dr. Light's direction. Regretfully, he was able to quickly blast the guest chair that was flung at him. He then threw her back even farther after blasting her with light. Before he could go too close or have the help of the highly experienced ninja, she said, Don't come any closer. He asked arrogantly, What's the matter? Afraid of the light? But she yelled back. She turned and sent dark tendrils to seize and pull him toward her, her eyes glowing blazing red. As Nerda Buddy smashed the suit system and pulled a pleading Dr. Light toward them, the 3 exceptionally adept ninja spoke the words. This core energy is extremely foul. No! My suit! Stop, I surrender! he cried as he was pulled inside the cloak. Her tone was cynical and strangely sadistic as she inquired, "What's the matter? Afraid of the dark?" Naruto shouted, "Naruto friend, stop," as the expert ninja approached. Kiba said, "Dude, what did you do?" while his Naruto companion gave him a ferocious hiss and left. Asuma nodded when the sixth headmaster asked, "Asuma, do you think you can take this person to prison?" Sakura and Naruto were on their way to his friend's house the following morning in an attempt to speak with her. They hoped she would talk to them about it instead of keeping it to herself since they were afraid about last night. They waited in her living room, but it appeared that Naruto's friend was not at home. Sakura kept an eye on Naruto to make sure he didn't get into any trouble when he became a bit restless while they were waiting and began to look around. Next, Naruto located the room of his companion. It was dark inside, and Naruto discovered that many of the items were unlike anything he had ever seen, even in this community. Sakura glanced around and wondered what she had in her room. She turned to Naruto after a minute and said, "Let's leave and wait in the other room for Naruto friend. She won't talk to us if she finds out we were in her stuff." Before turning to face Sakura, Naruto held up a mirror and said, "Agree, if she is calm, our Naruto friend might be willing to talk about the feeling." Naruto failed to see that the mirror had turned dark and had 4 red irate eyes. At that point, Naruto was pushed in the direction of the mirrors and began to get pulled in. "I do not think this is supposed to happen." Sakura tried to yank Naruto away from the mirror by grabbing onto him. But since she was drawn to him, it didn't appear to be of much use. As they rose from the stony ground, they moaned. Sakura looked around and gasped. They were hovering in midair on a thin stone walkway. There were stars, galaxies, and a number of islands drifting here and there in the dark sky. Then Sakura made the decision to inquire, "Where are we?" As they surveyed the lone plot of land, Naruto remarked, "I'm afraid I do not know, friend Sakura. I have not seen this part of space before, nor have I heard of such quadrants." More rocks then came together to form a route for them. As they began to walk and passed an arch, Sakura remarked, "Well, I guess we're going this way." A call said, "Turn back." They saw some adorable, cartoonish ravens with glowing red eyes. Sakura exclaimed, "Cute!" as they gazed at them. For some reason, this frightened Naruto, who stated, "I do not believe we should get close to them." Sakura turned to face Naruto saying, "They're just too cute to be bad, and they could give us directions." The birds abruptly moved from the top of the arch to the bottom. They had 4 scary red eyes and a row of sharp teeth in their long beaks, and they swiftly transformed from beautiful little gentlemen to ferocious monsters, saying repeatedly, "Turn back." They were forced to flee after Naruto fired a couple star bolts, but they appeared immune. Sakura hung on to Naruto, who grabbed her and floated, as the ground abruptly fell way beneath them. "Thanks, Naruto-kun." Sakura expressed gratitude that she would not be spending the rest of her life in a downward spiral. "You are welcome." While upside down on the path, a friend of Naruto shouted, "Hey guys, what's up?" As they unexpectedly found themselves stumbling on the path, Sakura spoke the words, "I don't know." As they fell to the ground, Naruto's friend giggled a little. Her 2 teammates did nothing but watch her. My pal never giggled, laughed, or displayed any emotion. "Friend Naruto friend, it is good to see you. How did you get here? Where is here? And why are you wearing the same color as Sakura's hair?" She responded with another grin. "Because pink is my favorite color, silly." Naruto asked, cocking his head to the side. "Really?" Sakura glanced at her Naruto friend, who appeared to be very content. "Do you know a way out of here?" "Oh, just a forbidden door," she said, gesturing toward a spiky stone archway further down the walkway. "But you don't want to go there." After exchanging glances, Naruto and Sakura said, "Yes, we do." "Okay, do say I didn't warn ya." At that point, Naruto's companion spread her arm and made noises as if she were flying. As they followed Naruto's friend, Sakura inquired, "Hey, have you ever seen her this happy? Or any kid of happy?" "She told me when we were in each other's body that her powers were controlled by emotions. I find it odd that she show any now, nor are there any mishaps because of it." After passing through the prohibited door, they discover that the scenery has transformed to a pink-flowered walk with trees all around. "Are we in the place where we find your shampoo friend Sakura?" Sakura scowled as her Naruto friend burst out laughing once more, saying, "That was funny." Naruto looked at him. "You think I am the funny. But you never find friend Kiba the funny, or even me before." "I always thought you were funny, Kiba was just bad at jokes." The 6th headmaster approached the true Naruto acquaintance who was meditating close to one of the training grounds. "Hey Naruto friend, do you feel like talking about what happened last night?" Suddenly, Naruto's buddy laughed aloud, covered her mouth with her hand, and fled. After observing her go, the 6th headmaster became irritated and remarked, "It was just a question. The Naruto buddy put her hood back on and added, I need to be alone. She then vanished into the night. Strangely enough, Guy had passed by with his group. The headmaster of the Sixth nodded, and he asked, Was that one of your youthful students? Knowing that something was off, he answered, Yes, but she never laughed like that before. After entering her room, a friend of Naruto searched the Uchiha district. When she looked in the mirror, she responded, No. Sakura and Naruto, meantime, were in the weird realm and went back to the empty space. As they spotted the trail again, Naruto remarked, I think we have come back to the place that we do not know from before. Sakura saw the door and sighed. As they began to go forward, she remarked, At least we can get home. Suddenly, walls began to rise up. It created hallways in addition to walls. Naruto attempted to soar above it, but he was held down by an odd force. Sakura then attempted one of her gadgets, a grappling cannon powered by core energy, but got the same outcome. What's happening now? She wondered. They turned to see Naruto buddy again, but this time she was wearing a gray cloak. Then they heard her voice again. It's a maze you have to go through. As Naruto's friend appeared to shrink, Naruto said, Friend, I do not mean to be rude, but why did you leave us in the place of strange bright things? No, I do not mean to make you sad. I just did not see you when we got out. I was afraid we have lost you. Perhaps you require what you would call a hug? Naruto saw and attempted to prevent her from feeling depressed. Before Naruto's companion could respond, she received a gentle hug and blushed a little. Sakura noticed this but didn't give it much thought. She also saw that Naruto's friend appeared to be different from how they had previously known him. She needed more evidence to support her theory. Sakura said, Naruto friend, do you know the way trough? After releasing her hug. With a gloomy nod, Naruto's pal said, I do, but if I take you will hate me. Naruto appeared to cheer up Naruto's friend, and she proceeded into the maze after saying, We would never hate you Naruto friend. We are teammates and friends, we trust each other no matter what. Sakura and Naruto maintained their vigilance as they walked so as not to be seen fighting something else in a small area. While they were moving, Naruto's buddy kept apologizing to them, and each time they said they would forgive her. But at last, Naruto said, Naruto friend, why do you feel sorry for everything? And she continued. When she turned the corner and they saw the exit, her companion Naruto did not respond. Sakura and Naruto made one enormous statue with two distinct faces on either side of the maze as they approached the two statues on either side. The four arms snatched up swords and prepared to fight. Naruto's companion said, Told you would hate me. And then she disappeared. The statue was trying to kill the two genin, so they tried to destroy it. Sakura employed some of her unique ninja equipment, but they were no more effective than Naruto's star bolts. Naruto even used shadow clones to work around them and combine the power, but the statue swung its blades to swat the clones. Sakura was equally perplexed, so Naruto inquired, How do we defeat such a creature? Yo, 8 eyes! Exclaimed Naruto's buddy as she reappeared wearing a dark green cloak. She then engaged in one-on-one combat with the statue, and in contrast to her custom of staying safe, she was forceful and persisted. Eventually, she split the statue in half with a battle shout. She animatedly exclaimed, Hoo-yah! High fives everyone! Which confused everyone once more. I am confused and many of your earthly ways are strange, but this is just plain freaky, yes? Sakura replied to Naruto. Naruto's companion said, What's wrong you two? We won! When Naruto landed and looked. When the cheerful and melancholy Naruto buddy appeared, Naruto said, I am confused as one moment you are happy, then you are most gloomy, and now you fight as if you were Tamaranian. Who are you? All three of them exclaimed, I'm Naruto friend. Simultaneously. Sakura began. Happy, timid, sad. However, the joyful Naruto friend stopped, saying, You forgot funny. At that point, Naruto understood what Sakura had hypothesized. These are the manifestations of Naruto friend's personality. Right, Naruto, we're not in some place in space, but inside Naruto friend's mind. Weird. When Sakura concluded her explanation and showed up, her friend Naruto stated, And I want you out. When she arrived, the other three Naruto buddies disappeared. She snarled, That mirror you found what a portal into my mind, it is a tool for meditation, not a toy. At her teammates. That made them appear a little sheepish. Sakura remarked, We are sorry, Naruto friend. We came over to your house to see if you need to talk about what happened and to show we are there for you. When we found the mirror we were just sucked and we didn't try anything with it. With a sigh, Naruto's friend said, We need to get you out of here. There are things in my mind that are meant to be kept hidden. Then, as something large pushed its way upward, the ground began to tremble. The four solid crimson eyes of a towering figure had looked down at them. It had two horns on its head that resembled deer, and its skin was blood crimson. It said, Hatred shall rule. Sakura gazed at it and said, Naruto friend, what is that? Let's just say I have some issues with my father. Her father glared at them with a fiery laser. The group stepped aside and launched an assault. Naruto shot multiple star bolts at him and soared at him, but it had little effect. The devil knocked him aside. Before he could avoid hitting her, Sakura attempted to throw her exploding disc into its eyes, but he didn't appear to notice. When Naruto stood up again, his companion flew close to him. Sakura started to pant alongside her teammates. After that, Naruto's friend's father fired 4 more beams at them, but Naruto's buddy created an energy barrier that appeared to be holding. You two need to get out of here. If I lose, you will be trapped here. She urges them in the direction of the exit despite their attempts to convince her otherwise. After dropping her barrier, Naruto's companion flew at her father while avoiding the blast. Sakura and Naruto watched her battle by herself. We have to help her. Before his eye blazed as he prepared to fight, Naruto muttered. Agreed, as 6th Headmaster Sensei said, those who break rules are trash, but those who leave behind their friends are lower than that. When Naruto's friend attempted to give her companion some time to flee, her father pushed her down. A few star blots struck him in the face as he towered over her. He saw Naruto fly toward him while holding Sakura when he looked up. Sakura's face was covered in ice when he tossed the disc. The demon lost his equilibrium after they both struck his face, landing next to Naruto's comrade. She stood up and said, You should have left. As the father of the Naruto friend stood up, Sakura remarked, I think we are right where we belong. Concerned for her pals, Naruto's friend said, Even with your guys' help we won't be able to defeat him. Then get more help, Naruto replied as they gazed at him. The other Naruto friends, they can help. They are a part of you and can help fight together. It is like the little friends of friend Shino, one small bug can do little bug, many can take down even the largest opponent. After glancing at him, Naruto's pal thought it would work. After grabbing Sakura, Naruto flew at his friend's father, saying, I need you two to keep him busy so I can get them together. Sakura pulled out her pole, and as Naruto approached, he swung her around, causing her to launch an attack. She was able to jerk his head to the side with the combined power. Naruto turned around and kicked the demon in the face using that momentum. To keep him from swiping at them, they lowered themselves. As Naruto fired his star bolts, Sakura tossed multiple discs toward the demon. When they came into touch with the demon's face, they struck simultaneously. He roared in an attempt to capture them. In the meantime, Naruto's companion stood there gathering her feelings. They appeared all around her, and her cloak blew. All of them, including the orange one who was belching and plucking her ear, the bright yellow one with glasses, the gray fearful one, and the pink cheerful one. They formed a circle around her, and all of them resembled her. The colors blended together as they flowed about. Even though Sakura and Naruto were growing weary, they continued to fight fiercely. Unfortunately, their father was able to seize them. Prior to him smashing them, a loud voice commanded, Put them down! When he turned, the 3 of them beheld a huge Naruto buddy in a white cloak who was the same size as her father. After dropping her buddies, her father unleashed a jet of crimson energy from his fists. A friend of mine fired her own explosion, but it was black. The 2 explosions clashed for power as they collided in the center. Give in to your hatred. As her father energy burst approached, she struggled, but then she recalled her friends, who trusted her and believed in her. She was aware that she struggled with hate and fury, but she believed that she could conquer it with the help of her friends. She exclaimed, You do not control me anymore! As her energy explosion intensified and her eyes sparkled. Her father's was quickly overpowered and blasted back. When he screamed, a dazzling light was cast across the area. Her father had vanished when it was all over, replaced by a red-cloaked Naruto buddy with 4 red eyes. Glancing up at the enormous white one, the red Naruto companion transformed into a red light and fused with the real one. The 6th headmaster knocked on the door of a Naruto friend as he was reading his book. He wanted to see how his student was doing because he was concerned about her. She discovered her Naruto friend, Sakura, and Naruto inside when the door opened. Well, this is a surprise. What are all 3 of yous doing? With a slight smile, the Naruto friend turned to face her teammates and said, Just getting to know each other better. The 6th headmaster grinned as Naruto declared, Yes, our teamwork will be better than ever. However, he later had a perverse notion. Well, I must say good job with the threesome, Naruto. The girls scowled at their sensei, and Naruto was perplexed. What is this sum of 3? The 6th headmaster witnessed his book being torn apart and covered with black energy before he could respond. His book fragments dropped, trapping him in a black barrier, and he watched in fear. The girls are looking at him and cracking their knuckles, which makes him perspire a little. As his friends started beating up their sensei, Naruto looked on in confusion. For some reason, Naruto thought it was safer to stay out of it.